Do you know what makes people uncomfortable? Not someone who's loud, not someone who brags about themselves. What really makes people shake in their seat is someone who walks in and needs absolutely nothing from the room. No approval, no reaction, no validation, just this quiet, unshakable stillness. That kind of person doesn't demand attention. They just have it. There's a difference between performing confidence and actually being it. One is loud, one is quiet, and the quiet one, that's the one that makes people nervous. It's not aggression. It's not arrogance. It's presence. And people can feel it before you even open your mouth. Before you say a single word, the room already knows. That's what we're building today. Because when you walk into a room and you're truly settled in yourself, people notice, even through closed doors. Stillness, it turns out, is one of the most powerful things a person can carry. Think about the most confident person you've ever been around. Not the loudest one, not the one who talked about themselves the most. I'm talking about the one who said very little and somehow said everything. The one who walked into a room and, without trying, pulled everyone's attention like gravity. You've seen that person. Maybe you've even stood next to them and felt it. That gap between who they are and who you're still becoming. And maybe in that moment your brain started doing that thing it does. Am I too much? Not enough? Did they like what I said? That constant scanning, that invisible radar running in the background, looking for feedback, looking for permission. Most of us are doing this every single day, reaching for approval we're not even sure we need. But when you watch someone who isn't doing any of that, you can't look away. And part of you wants to know, what is different about them? You've sat across from that person at a table, haven't you? And you studied them quietly because something about them felt real in a way you couldn't quite name. That feeling you had, that's the beginning of understanding this. You've seen it before. That one person, calm at the center of the chaos. Not scrambling, not performing. And you've replayed it in your head because your mind knew something important was in that moment, even if you couldn't explain it yet. Here's the psychology behind why truly confident people make others uncomfortable. And it starts with a simple number. When you're next to someone who is completely at ease with themselves, your brain starts comparing automatically. It can't help it. Psychologists call this social comparison. You're always measuring. And when someone next to you scores a 10 in self-assurance and you're sitting at a 4, that gap feels threatening. But here's the thing. That's not about you. The nervousness other people feel around a confident person isn't caused by that person. It's caused by the mirror they hold up. Confident people make you confront the places in yourself where you still don't feel enough. And that's uncomfortable. Not because they're doing anything wrong, but because you weren't ready to look. Your brain is measuring constantly. It's doing it right now. It's wired that way. The comparison is automatic. The difference is, the confident person isn't holding a scorecard. They're not measuring back. They just are. So the scale tips, not because they pushed it, but because you're the only one gripping it. That confrontation with your own reflection, in pieces, unresolved, that's what the discomfort actually is. So let me say this clearly. Their nervousness is not your fault. Say that again to yourself. Their nervousness is not your fault. Confidence doesn't weigh you down. It actually lightens the load. When you stop carrying other people's approval, something lifts. And the piece you think is missing, it was never outside you. It was always here. One of the most underrated signals of real confidence is this: the comfortable silence. Watch a genuinely confident person in conversation. The other person talks and talks. They wait, and that empty space they hold, it has power. They think before they speak. Not because they're slow, because they're deliberate. Every word is chosen. Most of us are terrified of silence, so we fill it. We talk when we don't need to. We laugh when nothing's funny. We rush to ease a tension that didn't need to be eased. But one clear thought, delivered calmly, that lands harder than 10 anxious ones. The silence test is real. Put a truly confident person and an insecure one in a quiet room together, and watch who breaks first. The confident person doesn't reach for the pause. They sit in it, hands folded, settled, because they're not operating from fear. Fear is what makes us talk. Fear is what makes us perform. When you're present, genuinely present, you don't need to fill the space. The space itself becomes the message. Stop using words as armor. You don't need them for defense. One open hand says more than a wall of words ever could. Silence is an answer. A pause is a statement. Learn to let it land. When you stop filling the silence, the nervous talker in the room reveals themselves. And you just watch. Here's what separates real confidence from fake confidence. Real confidence has already made peace with the door that says no. Fake confidence is a mask. A performance. A grin held up by the fear that if it slips, everything falls apart. Real confidence looks at the yes and the no with the same calm face. It doesn't need either one. It's just, okay, either way. That person is operating on a completely different frequency. You can't tune in to manipulate them because approval isn't their signal. Outcome independent. That's the phrase. When you're genuinely fine with how it goes, the whole dynamic shifts. You can't shake someone who isn't afraid of rejection. They watch it arrive, and they don't flinch. Every path is walkable for them. Yes, no, either fork. They move forward regardless. You can't pull someone who isn't holding the rope. That's it. That's the whole secret. You can't play someone who isn't playing. They just step off the board, and suddenly the game you were running has no opponent. They walk away with the same energy they arrived with. No residue, no resentment, no desperation. And once you stop fearing rejection, it loses its hold. The word no gets smaller. Your shadow gets bigger. Open hands don't cling, and what you don't cling to can't control you. Now here's the part I want you to sit with, because a lot of people hear, be so confident, it makes people nervous, and think, that's the goal. To intimidate, to dominate, to make people feel small. That's not it. Not even close. The people who are genuinely that confident, they're usually the warmest ones in the room. Because they have nothing to prove and nothing to protect. They can afford to be generous. Because their sense of self doesn't depend on anyone else's performance. They can afford to really listen, not waiting to talk, actually listening. They're complete. And that completeness, that wholeness, is what creates the feeling that unsettles people. It's not coldness. It's not superiority. It's that their presence quietly asks everyone around them, why aren't I this settled? That's the gravity. Warmth plus certainty. That combination is almost irresistible. The nervousness people feel isn't from being threatened. It's from being reminded of what's possible. And realizing they haven't gotten there yet. Now you see the full picture. This was never about intimidation. It was about becoming someone who is genuinely, deeply okay. So how do you actually build this? First, stop seeking real-time feedback. Before you speak, before you move, notice if you're waiting for someone to tell you it's okay. And then move anyway. Make more decisions without permission. Start small. Build the muscle. Let the pause land. The next time you're in a conversation and silence shows up, don't rush to kill it. Press pause. Let it breathe. Practice sitting in quiet. Get comfortable with it. Because the people who are most unsettled by silence are the ones who've never learned to sit still inside themselves. Get clear on your values. Who are you? What do you stand for? What will you not compromise? Write it down if you need to. When you know those answers, you stop needing anyone else to confirm them. Know who you are when no one's watching. Because that version of you, that's the real one. And building confidence starts there. Stop using paragraphs when a sentence will do. One clear thought, delivered calmly. That's all you need. Stop over-explaining. You don't owe anyone a justification for every choice. A calm statement is more powerful than 10 defensive ones. Do the inner work, not for an audience. Quietly, consistently. That's where the real shift happens. Do it not to impress anyone. Do it because you actually want to feel settled. The audience will notice, but they can't be the reason. You deserve to feel at home in your own skin. That's not arrogance, that's the baseline. And it's available to you. This is the work. Unglamorous, consistent, real. When something triggers you, slow down the reflex. Don't react, respond. That gap between stimulus and response, that's where your power lives. Over time, the need for approval drops. Not overnight, but steadily. And as it drops, something else rises. When the noise gets loud, come back to yourself. One hand on your own center. That's the anchor. Your compass points inward, not toward their opinion, toward your own North Star. Confidence isn't a performance. It's not a mask. It's what's left when you stop pretending. And you finally decide to just show up as exactly who you are. When you get there, people will feel it before you say a word. Not because you demanded the room, but because you didn't need it. That kind of person is rare, but you can become them. There's a lot more where this came from. Stay rooted. The wind moves everything else, not you. Presence is the message. You don't always need words. Sometimes you just need to be there, fully there. That shift from scanning the room for approval to simply being in it, that's the whole journey. Confidence isn't a destination you reach. It's how you walk every single day. When you put all of this together, the stillness, the silence, the peace with no, the warmth, the work, you get the full picture. If this one landed for you, you already know what to do next.